Too loud? I'm going to say good morning also in case I missed anybody. But it's sure good to be in God's house. I missed a lot of church this year because of surgery. And I don't like to do that. I feel like there's something missing in my life when I miss church. It's good to be here. Good to be with my church family. A few weeks ago, our pastor mentioned a song. And I was very familiar with it because I read an article a long time ago on it. And what's interesting about the article was a lady that wrote the song. Her name was Myra Welch. And she was disabled, stayed in a wheelchair most of the time. She couldn't type on her typewriter. That's how she wrote poetry. That was her passion. And she couldn't type with her fingers because of the disability. So the article said she'd take a pencil and wedge it between her hands and use an eraser and get the keys. That's how she typed her poetry. She wrote this as a poem, but a lot of people have put the music to it and sung it since then. I'm going to try to read it as a poem. Hope I don't mess it up too much. It's about an auctioneer trying to auction off a violin, but it has a really strong message at the end of it. The old violin was battered and scarred, and the auctioneer felt it was hardly worth his while to waste much time on that old violin, but he held it up with a smile. Well, it sure ain't much, but it's all we got left, so I guess we ought to sell it too. Now we'll start the bid on this old violin. Just one more and we'll be through. Then he cried, one, give me $1. Who'll make it two? Only $2, he'll make it three. $3 twice, that's a good price. Come on now, who's gonna bid for me? Raise up your hands now. Don't wait any longer. The auction's about to end. Who's got four? Just $1 more to bid on this old violin. Well, the air was hot, the people, they stood all around, the sun was setting low, when from the back of the crowd, a gray-haired old man came forward and he picked up the bow. He wiped the dust from the old violin, tightened up the strings, then he played out a melody, pure and sweet, sweeter than the angels sing. Then the music stopped, and the auctioneer with a voice quiet and low said, now, what am I bidding for this old violin? And he held it up with a bow. Then he cried out, one, give me 1,000. Who'll make it two? Only 2,000. Who'll make it three? 3,000 twice. That's a good price. Come on now, who's gonna bid for me? And the people cried out, what made the change? We don't understand. Then the auctioneer stopped and he said with a smile, It was a touch of the Master's hand. You know, there's many a man with his life out of tune, battered and scarred with sin, and he's auctioned cheap to a thankless world, much like that old violin. Oh, but then the Master comes, and that old foolish crowd, they'll never understand the worth of a soul and the change that is brought by just one touch of the Master's hand.